which NFL teams are making the playoffs and who's staying home. It's Who's In, Who's Out on 97.3 ESPN FM, South Jersey's football station.
All right, here's the 12 teams we think are going to make the playoffs. We'll go around the room. We'll start in the AFC. Anybody taking the Patriots off the top of the list? Currently, they're in third place.
In a word, no.
In a word, no. Just because they lost doesn't mean I'm taking them out.
I'm sticking with the Patriots, but their defense has given up 128 points. It's pretty bad. In fact, I believe the 128 will put them exactly last in the league.
Pete, what movie that quote from?
In a word, no. You got me.
Godfather?
Oh, okay. Leave the gun. Take the cannoli.
There you go.
In the North, Pete Thompson.
In the North, Mike Gill. I'm going with the Steelers. The Ravens are a mess right now. You can't pick the Bengals or the Browns. It's got to be the Steelers.
Steelers.
This one's starting to pull away, too. The Steelers are the only team in the division with a plus 31. Everybody else has given up scored less points than they've given up. I got the Steelers as well. Josh, in the South, this one's interesting. We got 3 teams at 2-2.
Well, in week 1, I had the Texans. I'm switching back to the Texans after having the Titans the last few weeks. I think that the resurgence of Deshaun Watson has been huge for this team.
Pete Thompson.
I had the Texans in week 1. I had Jacksonville in week 2, and I've had Tennessee in week 3 and week 4. The thing that scares me about
Tennessee. You should have the Colts this week.
Yeah.
By the way, the Colts actually have given up more points than the Patriots.
Correct, 136. But I'm glad you brought that up, Mike. That's what scares me about Tennessee. 126 points against, and yet I'll put Tennessee in there for one more week just to say that was a 1 week. Yeah.
I had the Texans number 5 in my Find 5 last week, but I don't think they're going to win the division. I'm going back to Houston. I always liked Houston. I don't know what got me off of them last week other than I was really concerned about the quarterback situation, but this Watson has really stabilized that. They got Fuller back. Their defense is pretty good. It looks like Hopkins, right after I traded him in fantasy, is now becoming back to where he was 2 years ago, and that's a good sign for the Texans. Let's go to the West. Pete Thompson, I'll let you start off this one.
Mike Gill, I hate saying these words. You were right, Mike Gill. You were
Aren't
right.
you just used to it by now?
No, the Chiefs are not only good, they're the only unbeaten team left. The Chiefs are in the AFC West, coming out of there as the winner.
Can you really go anywhere except for the Chiefs at this point? I mean,
Denver's 3-1.
Yeah, but the Chiefs are undefeated. They're the only undefeated team in football. You got to go Chiefs.
They're 1 game apart. I still like the Chiefs, but I mean, it's not that you can't go anywhere else. I mean, if Denver beats the Chiefs, all of a sudden, they're in first place.
Well, then we'll have that conversation when we cross that bridge.
Okay. You guys were both on the Oakland wagon for a while there, so I'm just making sure.
Oakland's got some issues now. Derek Carr is going to miss some time. Mike Crabtree's been hurt.
Wild cards. Who you got?
Denver is my first wild card team. And then I have the Bills as my second wild card team. How about that? They play Cincinnati this week. I was looking at all the teams that could be that last wild card team, and boy, if they play Cincinnati, and I don't at least have them as a wild card team, and you would assume that they're going to go to 4-1 after beating Cincinnati. I'm trying to be proactive, not reactive, to the Buffalo Bills.
I have 2 new teams in for the wild card. I swapped the Titans with the Texans, so one goes wild card, the other one's division. I am taking the Raiders out. I am putting the Broncos in. I am really worried about this back injury for Derek Carr because other guys who have had the same injury, they came back a lot quicker than his prognosis.
I'm going with Denver and Tennessee as my 2. Yeah.
Denver, Tennessee.
Well, I'm looking around and seeing, I mean, realistically, Oakland with the quarterback problem, I can't see Baltimore right now the way they're playing. Buffalo would be really the only other option, and I like Tennessee more than I like Buffalo, so I'll go that direction.
Buffalo has only given up 54 points all season long.
Their defense is
Tennessee has given
real.
up 126.
Yikes, good grief.
Twice the amount.
Let's go to the NFC and start at the West there, Pete Thompson.
The West is not the best, MG, but Seattle is the best of the worst, if that makes sense. Plus, they play the Rams this week, so I'm leaving Seattle as the NFC West winner.
Seattle, I think it's pretty straightforward. The Cardinals are mediocre. You have a team in the 49ers can't get out of their own way. The Rams are interesting. The Rams are making a case, but I want to see the Rams beat the Seahawks before I'm willing to make that jump.
I'm going with the Rams, and this is why. I told you week in and week out, the Seahawks offensive line could cause them to lose that division. The problem was, I didn't think there was anybody legitimately able to knock them off. The Rams have a good defense. And even when the Rams have not been very good, they have given the Seahawks some problems. In the last couple of years, the Rams have been awful, but they've given the Seahawks some issues. They can score now.
Rams could easily be 4-0.
They can score. They're a plus 37. The interesting part about the Rams is they're 2-0 on the road, so they're growing up a little bit. I think that offensive line is a big enough issue for Seattle that I'm going to give the Rams the West after the quarter pole. How about that?
It's pretty surprising.
Well,
we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens this week, Mike.
Josh in the South.
I'm going to go Falcons. I'm going to stick with them for now just because I think the Bills game was an anomaly. Every team's got that weird game every season. That might have been the weird game for the Falcons. I still think that defense is better than they were last year, and I think that they'll find a way to get out of this. I just don't have a lot of faith in the long-term viability of the other teams in the division to keep up the pace they're on.
Everybody won in the NFC South except the Atlanta Falcons, and yet I am keeping the Atlanta Falcons in the NFC South as the winner. Again, with a lot of the reasons that Josh said. Carolina can be, you don't know which Carolina team you're going to get, and Tampa Bay is still trying to figure out their identity. Plus, the Saints, well, they won because of who they played and where they played.
I started the year off with Carolina. I got away from them, but I'm coming back, baby. I'm coming back for more. Carolina's only given up 70 points this year. The offense finally got going. I know it's against a bad New England defense, but again, the Falcons, you can't lose at home to Buffalo. Can't do it. You can't do it.
You can if Buffalo's your second wild card team.
That's not bad. By the way, it's the only division in football where all four teams have 2 or more wins. But I like Carolina to win the division in the South. In the North, Pete Thompson, your honor.
To the North, there lies a future Hall of Famer, and his name is Aaron Rodgers. Again, I said it earlier, other than the hiccup that they had or the ugly game they had in Atlanta, the Packers have been the Packers. Now, all 3 of their wins are at home. Their points against are respectable with 81. They've got a point differential of plus 21. They're finding ways to win. I am a little concerned about their running back being hurt, Montgomery. But anytime you got Rodgers and you look at that division, it's tight. Packers.
They find ways to win. The Packers do. Injuries, doesn't matter. Aaron Rodgers is still there. He's still arguably, if not the best, one of the 2 best quarterbacks in the NFL. Packers, North.
I'm going to Detroit in the North. You know why? Because you just said it. The injuries. The Lions are finally legitimate enough to take advantage of those injuries. Ansah against those 2 tackles, that's a problem. The Lions are growing up before our very eyes. They're 2-0 on the road. That's a big number for the Lions team because typically they haven't been able to win on the road. They're all grown up, and they're all grown up. And you know what? The Lions, just like the Panthers, they've only given up 70 points, and that's going to be a problem for Aaron Rodgers because he has no offensive line. They're on to their 6th tackles or something like that.
We got to wait.
Backup of the backups.
We got to wait another month until those 2 play each other.
I believe they also play each other on Thanksgiving.
That's part of the problem. They're at the Packers on November 6th, and then it's New Year's Eve day.
Okay.
12:31 at 1 o'clock.
Let's go to the East. Pete Thompson.
All right, first time I'm doing it. It took me 5 weeks, but the Philadelphia Eagles will win the NFC East. It was an impressive win to be able to find a way that's back-to-back weeks of running the football. Running the football can help you win a division, and quite frankly, did you see the Cowboys lose? Did you see that the Giants are 0-4? Did you see the Redskins lose? Eagles win the NFC East.
I am going to go with the Eagles for the 3rd straight week. I got on the Eagles wagon on the East before you guys did, mostly because of what I saw from them weeks ago, and it's only been confirmed by the other teams in the division. I mean, we're at the point where it's not that we think the Eagles can win, it's the other teams, we don't know if they can actually stop them at this point.
I'm going to stick with Dallas for at least another week. I know they lost last week. Now, there's supposed to potentially be a hearing on Elliott this week, maybe tomorrow, maybe Thursday.
We might hear something today.
Could be. That could change a lot of things. I still like their run game. I think they're defensively, they're terrible.
And if they lost Elliott,
that would change a lot.
Plummet is the word you're looking for.
I still think Dallas, though, has enough I'm going to stick with them for another week. I hate to say it, but I'm going to go Dallas in the East. Sorry.
Wild cards, MG. I've got Carolina in, so I'm on Carolina with a wild card spot. And then I really went back and forth between Tampa or Detroit as my other wild card spot. And I went with Tampa because I had them as the wild card last week, and I thought they shouldn't lose their spot based on the fact that all they did was win the football game.
My wild card did not change from last week. I still got the Bucs, still got the Lions. I think the quarterback play on those two teams is above the quarterback play of the other teams who are in contention.
So you don't have Carolina in any of your playoff spots?
No.
I've got Philadelphia and Atlanta. That's my two wild cards. By the way, the NFC is pretty interesting. You got Washington. You've got Minnesota. You guys didn't put the Lions in there, but they're 3-1.
I put the Lions in.
He did. I didn't.
Okay. Tampa.
I put Tampa in.
Carolina's 3-1. The Saints are 2-2. And I don't have the Seahawks in at 2-2, and Arizona's 2-2.
Yeah.
A lot more options to the NFC.
Really, you've got the 0-4 Giants, the 0-4 Niners, and the 1-3 Bears, and then everybody else has a shot.